Have you ever experienced this? You start your day clearly knowing what you've got to do. You've prepared a coffee and sit down at your desk. However, just when you start to get focused, emails, calls, messages just keep popping up. Not long after, you find that you are not working the task that's on your to-do list. You're just working on the urgent tasks that come in through the calls, messages, emails, and meetings. But you are very smart. You know that you need to protect your workflow. So you looked into deep work. You've learned everything about the deep work, preparing what you need before the section, set aside some hours, and entering into the uninterrupted workflow. But that's not possible for your 9 to 5. I didn't think deep work was possible for a full-time job either, but not until I discover what I'm going to share with you in this video. Right now, I've got uninterrupted hours in the morning to finish my whole day's work. I'm not letting my full-time job take up my evening. I have a chilled and relaxed job that doesn't feel like a hell to me. And I even have so much time left to work on my side hustle. A to-do list is no longer a decoration on my desk. I can really check off something from my to-do list. So if I can have a deep work section at my 9 to 5, you can too. And I will tell you exactly how in this video. Even though your job has to face lots of clients, deep work is possible for you too. One thing I realized is the reason why I couldn't have a deep work section at my 9 to 5 is not because of my senior, it's not because of my clients, it's not because the job nature itself. It is because of me. When I first started my full-time job, my team status is always available. So anytime someone sent me an email, I will open it right away. Anytime someone called me, I picked it up without thinking. And if someone sent me an meeting invite, I will accept it immediately. So my whole days just look like this: checking emails, trying to focus, picking up calls, trying to focus again, replying email, trying to focus. This cycle is just keep repeating and repeating. Have you spotted the issues? Yes. I realized that if I want to have a deeper session at my work, I couldn't just wait for any free moments. I had to proactively block out the time before everything else piled up. And here is something that's very important that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. You are not randomly block out any hours in your day. You block out the hours that you naturally at your best, which I call the peak performance hours. Daniel Pink, the author of When, I'm not sure have you heard about this book. He found that our productivity and performance will suffer if we are not doing the right task during the right time. According to his research, there are 3 stages throughout our day. The first stage is peak, and for most people it's usually the morning. During this period, it is best for deep work, critical thinking, and also decision making. The second stage of our day is trough. It's usually early to mid-afternoon for most people, and during this time, our energy starts to drop. So it is best for lighter admin tasks like replying emails, checking emails. The third stage is recovery. It's usually late afternoon to evening to most people. At this stage, our creativities will come back, and it is good for brainstorming or some looser work. But be aware that this cycle isn't same for everyone, so your cycle may not be the same with the one that's sitting next to you. But once you know your pattern, it changes everything. Let's say my peak performance hours is usually 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I will schedule my deep work section during that time, and I will only work on the tasks that require my critical thinking skills, require my analytical skills. You probably already have a good sense of when you're naturally the most focused. You know, those times that when tasks just feels like easier to you and you can fully log in and you can get a ton of things done. That will be your peak performance hours. So you don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need to track your energy level every single hours like everyone else said. Just pay attention starting from tomorrow, and you will notice when you feel the most sharp. Once you're aware of it, start blocking out this time, and along with time, you can adjust and knowing more accurately when is your peak performance hours truly is. And that's the first step where deep work at a 9 to 5 is possible. Now you know that when is your peak performance hours, the next step is you've got to protect them. You need to make it easy for others to know that when you are not available. For example, set up focus hours on Teams during the deep work sections every single day. Turn on the do not disturb mode on your phone, on your laptop. If your office has a quiet room, just work in the quiet room. This is what I usually do when I was in my previous company. Basically, you just have to do whatever you need to do to create a bubble around you and stop everyone else from disturbing you. But this is where most people get stuck. They're afraid they will miss something urgent if they don't answer calls, emails, messages right away. And honestly, that fears actually makes sense. But here's the thing, if you prioritize your deep work section first and you finish all of your tasks in the morning, think about it. How many hours have you left in the afternoon to finish all of the urgent tasks? And here's something that I've learned from my previous work experience is 99% of the time when they said it's urgent, it's actually not urgent. I would reply to an urgent email and no one respond to me until the other day. I've completed a task immediately and my senior wouldn't even send it out to my clients on the same day. But what if something that is truly urgent? This is why you need to leave your afternoon open. This is why you need to protect your deep work section. If you finish the important task in the morning, you will have your day free to handle any emergencies. But if there is no emergency, then you will get a relaxed and productive afternoon without any stress. Nothing gets delayed and nothing gets piled up tomorrow. We really need to work smart instead of working hard, so we can truly spend our time on what actually matters to us. Back when I had multiple meetings throughout the day, I usually leave 30 minutes to 1 hour between the meetings just to prepare the next one. By the end of the day, I found myself I just spent my whole days in meetings and then I barely checked off anything on my to-do list. So it was really frustrating because I couldn't finish my work for that day, and at the same time, my to-do list is just growing after all the meetings because I've got more tasks to do after every single meeting. Therefore, even in the evening, even I finish my work, I would be still thinking about work. I will be thinking about all the things that I haven't done and how much more things I need to finish tomorrow. But here's what I start to do to change the situation. And honestly, after these two steps, it has saved me so much time and I have further protected my deep work sections. The first is prepare. Whenever I work on a task that I will need to present to my senior, I don't wait until right before the meeting to prepare. I will prepare the meetings right after I finish the task. I will quickly highlight the key points and also some important figures, and even create a rough outline on how I would like to present to my senior. Because right after you just finish the task, your mind is crystal clear. You will truly understand what you need to present and how to present it. You know exactly what matters. But if you wait until later to prepare, for example, just prepare before the meeting, you forget half of the details and you felt like every piece of information is just disconnect. So it takes more time for you to piece back every single information for you to present it. Therefore, I will prepare the meeting when I'm still inside the task, but not hours later. The next step is batching. I start to batch my meetings. Instead of spreading them out all day, I pack them into one block. So it's either I've got all of the meetings in one day, or I usually have the meetings during the afternoon time, but not in the morning time. Since I've already prepared what I need to present, so when the meeting time came, I just need quick 15 minutes to read my notes and then present. I don't need 30 minutes to an hour to prepare again. Not only batching all of the meetings, I also start batching similar tasks into a specific work block, because there's actual research show that if we constantly switching the task, our productivity will drop by 40%, and this is called context switching. Our brain needs time to adjust to different tasks when we switch the task, and we use more mental energy when we're switching the task. Therefore, during the day, if I have to work on tasks that require my analytical skills, I will pack them together. I will not work on tasks that require my analytical skills and then check my emails and then go back to different tasks that require my analytical skills again. I will put all of the tasks that require my analytical skills in one work block and then work on those tasks during my deep work section. By batching all the tasks, I protect my deep work hours, and at the same time, I can get way more things done in less time. Sometimes the real challenges isn't you, it is the people that are around you. When I first started practicing the deep work section at my work, I ran into two big problems. The first is my senior didn't really understand what I was doing, and the second is my clients love schedule meeting in the morning, and exactly during my peak performance hours. I'm sure you have experienced this if you are trying to implement a deep work sections at your work. I thought about it a lot, and eventually I realized the solution is actually much simpler than I thought. When I sent out meeting invites, I noticed that my seniors and clients would politely respond to my email and said, "I'm not available in the morning. Would it be possible that we schedule the meetings in the afternoon?" That's when it clicked for me. I've been thinking that I have to say yes to everything and I'm not allowed to say no. I should pick up all the call, I should reply all the email, I should accept every meeting invite. deadlines, no matter at what time. But we don't actually have to do that. We just simply have to say, I'm sorry, I'm not available in the morning. Can we do this in the afternoon? We don't even need to explain the reason why. You are allowed to be unavailable even though you are not a senior or manager level. And if you do want to be more open with your senior, you can simply explain you work best in your morning, because over time they will start to see the results themselves. They will start to notice that you've got higher quality of works if they left your morning undisturbed. They will realize protecting your deep work hours actually beneficial to the company. At the end of the day, if you produced a great work, your senior is happy, your director is happy, your client is happy, your company is happy, and most importantly, you are happy because you work smarter, not harder. Meetings are really funny. On one hand, they can be very useful. You can solve the problem quickly, you can get the information instantly, but most of the time, you leave the meeting and wondering, why did that even need it? There are so many unnecessary meetings in a daytime job that will steal your deep work focus hours and also stealing your energy. This is why it is very important for you to cut down the meetings that you don't actually need. I would call those unproductive meetings. And what do I mean by unproductive meetings? They are the meetings that regular progress meetings when there is actually no update in the progress. They are the meetings that without any clear agenda or clear goals, where people are just get into meetings and then asking how are you and randomly expressing their views without a clear goal at the end. All of these unproductive meetings, you can just decline it, or you can just replace the meetings as team message. It sounds really basic and it may sound a little bit silly as well, but most people don't do it. Most people just attend the meetings. But I get it if you're afraid to say no, because once I was really afraid to say no as well, especially I'm a junior. I was afraid to reject meetings. But trust me, 9 out of 10 times, the fear is just in your head. You can politely decline or reschedule the meeting with a valid reason like, since the project is paused, should we cancel the meeting today? Since we don't have clear next step right now, maybe we can reschedule when there are more things to discuss. You don't need to become a senior to suggest a smarter way of thinking. So deep work is definitely possible at a 9 to 5 job. If we can free up more time by batching and also decline some of the unproductive meetings, and then we know about our peak performance hours and block out those times to prevent anyone interrupting us, we can definitely have a deep work sessions in our 9 to 5. If this video is somewhat useful to you, can you please give me a like, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!